So my name is James Reinhart. I'm the CEO of ThredUP.com, and we are the nation's largest marketplace for kids clothing. So we started this program of Work at Home Wednesdays at ThredUP, and the main reason for it is that in the startup world, it's all focused on execution. And one of the things I was noticing as a CEO is that there wasn't enough thinking going on in the organization, that everybody was trying to move so fast the way the expectations are in the startup world. And so we implemented this policy because I asked everybody to sort of step back and spend some time at home thinking about the things they were trying to accomplish. And that's how the policy came to be. And it's nobody can come into the office on Wednesdays. So yeah, the policy is you can't come in unless there's something sort of fundamental in the office that you need to do. So if you have an important meeting that you have to meet with colleagues or something like that, you can come in. But the policy is that you work a traditional day, but that you do everything from wherever you want. So you can work from home, you can work from a coffee shop, you can work from a plane, however you want to do it. If you want to wake up a little bit later and work a little bit later, we give you sort of the freedom to do that. And it's been working great for the team. Well, we originally had it as Work at Home Fridays, which I would not recommend because Work at Home Fridays turn into 3 o'clock happy hour. But Work at Home Wednesdays has been in process for about a year now. So we not immediately when the company started, but soon after. I think overall, employee satisfaction has been great because I think what it allowed for is it allowed people to get refreshed in the middle of the week. Like any startup, we work really hard. We work long hours. The expectations are high, and so there was a little bit of I could take a deep breath in the middle of the week. And so I think on the employee side, it's been great because people really appreciate that time. On the productivity side, it's been extraordinary because we actually get more productivity from people out of that day because they're actually a little bit more focused. When you're in an office like we have where it's all open space, there are a lot of distractions throughout the day. So this allows people to really focus on a specific problem, and that's really paid off. Most of the people working here, we do have some folks who work on the East Coast, and we have some people who work actually up in Seattle, but the majority of everyone is here in the office. And the major tweaks to the thing has been around, we still have Scrum every morning at 9 a.m. that we do on Skype. So we originally weren't going to do that and decided to, let's have everybody connected and make it feel like a more traditional day. And then we do really put pressure on people to sort of ship code, by the end of that day. And so, we had to tweak kind of when stuff came in and what the expectations were. It wasn't just a day to sit at home and think about the world of ThredUP. It was a day to be productive, and so we've had to sort of make some adjustments along the way. So I think the office environment is critical. So when we launched ThredUP originally, it was launched in Starbucks. That was our office for many months, and we moved to some nicer coffee shops for a few more months. But I think there's real collaboration around all the whiteboards in our office. We have an office full of people being able to write on the walls, and so I think that collaborative energy is a really important part of the mix for us. But I think at that same time, you also need time for people to be alone and to really think deeply about the things they're trying to solve. And so I want to have the best of both worlds. I want to have a collaborative office environment where we can draw on whiteboards and make stuff happen as a team. But then I want people to have that opportunity to pull back and think more broadly about what they're working on. And so I think you need both. And I think a lot of companies have gone too far to focus on these amazingly nice offices that everybody never leaves. If you think about kind of where the big tech companies are going, Facebook, Google, they don't want you to leave. My philosophy is I want you to be here and I want you to focus on, and then I want you to leave. And I don't want you to be here your whole life. I want you to be here and be productive. And so I think it's a different philosophy. I think the best recommendation I would make is think about how you structure the rigidity and the flexibility in your overall culture. So I think if you want to be rigid about certain things, like for example, we always have a 9 a.m. standing Scrum, right? So that's a rigid part of our culture. And so I think for most people, they need to identify how they want the broader cultural experience to be at the company. If you want to be a place that plays beer games at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, that doesn't necessarily juxtapose well with a company where people come in at 7:30 in the morning. And I think the biggest recommendation I would make for folks is to get consistency around what they want their culture to be and stick to that. And I think a lot of people get sort of whimsical about it. And so Work at Home Wednesdays is a feature of what we're trying to accomplish. It's not by accident. And so what I would tell people is be really thoughtful about, everybody talks about culture, but think about, how you're actually implementing what that cultural experience is going to be. And I think a lot of founders don't do that early enough. I think the culture gets sort of defined by the people they hire versus having a real strategy for how you want the culture to be. And I think Work at Home Wednesdays works for us. I don't think it necessarily works for every company. I think it doesn't necessarily work for very small teams where you're by definition more flexible, and I'm not sure that this will work for 800.